Excuse me, everyone, please be seated. Class is about to begin. I am Professor Jerk, and this is Trainables episode 6. Well, it has been a few days since our last Kraken and last video. Not because I can only post Krakens, but because the games have just been pretty meh for me. Winning, sure, well, mostly, but plenty of frustrating losses, like you will see in this game. It is a very heavy BB situation in the top tiers right now, what with the Massachusetts campaign ending and everyone trying to get their secondary hits. So after going through the rotation of battleships, you have all requested me post a video of a Kraken in, and only getting frustration as a result. I decided I would take out a ship I have exactly 0 Krakens in, but no, I am quite capable of being a thorn in the side of the red team with the Tier 7 Japanese heavy cruiser Mogami. So let's see. Before we get into this game, we've got the patch notes tomorrow. That should be exciting. I'm holding off on any carrier judgments until I actually play them, but I imagine they will make things quite a bit different than they are right now. But once we see those, I may make a video on my initial reaction of everything that's coming. Fingers and toes crossed for the Bayard as a global XP ship or campaign, but global XP would be just fine with me. Mogami. If you saw my video on Otago, then you're familiar with the primary differences, which beyond torpedoes isn't too much aside from the quicker reload and the easier to hit citadel. Let me put my commander up real quick and you'll see I'm sticking with Azure Lane Otago purely for the increased HE damage and chance to start fires, of which I will cause 20 of this round. It's the perfect gift for Valentine's Day. What better way to say I love you than with a romantic evening in front of the fireplace exchanging spatulas. We're on Trident, as you can see, and the enemy team is composed of a bunch of battleships, a few cruisers, and one Minsk. A Minsk. Remember that. I spawned centrally, but have repositioned slightly to the west to support my team as they're going to be overloaded by the red team. On the east, we had a 3v3 before my teammates decided to leave, and considering one of those 3 is a Minsk which cannot blind torp you, I figured they had that. Of course, that was my first mistake. As I have said on Reddit plenty of times, you have to go into every match expecting that you are a Sherpa and the win is the peak of Mount Everest. Yes, your team will bask in the glory of the win, posting selfies, but you will be just off camera knowing who really did all of that work. So I'm moving west here to try and get out into the open water, because that's where I can really excel by shooting, dropping spot, repositioning, shooting, rinse, lather, repeat. The red Cleveland can be a big issue, but as we saw in the Charles Martel video, Cleveland without cover isn't really much of a problem if you know what you're doing. The big issue over here are all these battleships. Mogami taking fire from a battleship is like putting ketchup on a hot dog. Don't do it. And you can argue all you want in the comments, but ketchup does not belong on a hot dog unless you are under 5 years old. It is mustard, relish, onions, tomato slice, dill, pickle, spear, and a sport pepper with celery salt on a poppy seed bun. That is the Chicago way, and in my world, that is the only way. I once chose a flight with a layover in O'Hare just so I could have a Chicago dog. Wow. Remember when you could travel? Well, we lost our destroyer. And normally that would be an issue unless the other team's destroyer is a Minsk. But that's the situation we're in. Not too big of a deal. We've gotten rid of the Organizer now, and I'm going to start working on this Amagi. I'm backing up to use the terrain as cover to keep myself from being spotted and just lobbing these HE shells over each one with that ridiculous 25% chance to start a fire. And that is a spicy meatball. Alright, let's talk meatball recipes. I'm just kidding. I haven't had lunch yet, so food is on my mind. But let's not kid ourselves. If I'm awake and it's not lunch, food is on my mind. Do you ever go to lunch and think about what you're going to have for lunch tomorrow? I mean, we got a lot of free time right now. Sorry. I'll continue to work on this Amagi with the Japanese HE shells. They've got high alpha and they've got that ridiculous fire chance, so I will make pretty quick work of this Amagi. And it will in fact be my first ship sunk in a match which ends heart attack close to cracking 188. In fact, even if this match were a quarter of a second longer, I probably would have netted it. But them are the breaks. Right, 2 of the battleship threats over here are gone. So I can try and move out into open water to engage this Cleveland. And the Cleveland has no idea of the power of Azure Lane Atago HE shells, but they will. And they do the right thing. They're going to switch to AP and try to catch me, but silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. So I'm going to ping my team to defend the base, because looking at the minimap, hopefully you can all see what's happening. Our east flank has collapsed, and our team's positioning is all over the place. The cruiser and battleship to the south of me are in a questionable spot, and our Roma in the center is good and can hopefully catch anyone who pops out to get me while I kite away from these enemies. And here we can see the Azure Lane HE shells working this Cleveland. Those are some big hits. And look, the Cleveland thinks it's in a fire starter. It has no idea what it's going up against. Just like when they went up against the Charles Martel.
Attention, defending the base is our primary objective.
That Cleveland is Bon Jovi living on a prayer. They get behind cover thinking they can continue to lob their HE at me, and I'd like to exchange numbers. Mine is 555. Oh, hold on. There's a Bismarck. Time to get a turn in. Do not want to be shot by that. And now that we've got that turn, we can get back to this Cleveland. Alright, Cleveland. You cannot hide forever. Right? Alright, you cannot hide forever. Right? You cannot... Okay. Whew. How many more times are we going to have to do that? Alright, now let's get back to this Bismarck. I really need to head back to the base as the situation is getting dire. I'm going to keep engaging with this Bismarck as I head back that way, but I have no idea of the health of the rest of the red team. I'm really hoping our east side managed to get them pretty low, so maybe I'll just have to do some cleanup duty. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. And alright, there goes the Bismarck. So it's not too bad if our team would turn around and defend our base, but you can't control what your team does. We can recommend that they come back to defend, but you cannot make them come back to defend. And those guys in the center, they are not going to come back to defend. So I will, and I'm going to engage this Fiji. Probably should be using AP here because he's broadside and so thinly armored. Oh look, there just went one of our last two teammates. Yeah, oh, just got a high cal. Yeah, I should be using AP here probably because he's broadside and he's so thinly armored, but the Japanese AP at this range is not nearly as reliable to me as this HE, which can still do monster damage. I'm just going to try and focus down that Fiji, maybe get a fire on this Bismarck first and send some torps over that way to span that whole area full of things that are dangerous, but I need to just focus on one enemy at a time. I can't be dividing up my attention between them both. You have to remove guns from the map. And that's why you can't be upset when your teammates actually help you and do what some would call kill stealing. So the Fiji's turning in, and I'm loading AP because they're getting a bit closer now. But I'm going to be switching back and forth between AP and HE, as their Fiji's doing a good job of opening and closing their angles, and so I always seem to have the wrong ammo type loaded when I want the other. But you know what? That's what you want to do. You want to bait the enemy into shooting you with the wrong one. But in the end, I'm still going to sink them right here, and we just got a torp in the Bismarck. So all of a sudden we're at 3 ships sunk, and I figure I'm just dead meat. But did that Bismarck just shoot HE? Yes, they did. And they are flooding. So, you're telling me there's a chance. Not much of a chance, but there is a chance. We've got a fire on them. They're flooding. And look, we're about to break 200,000 damage too. So I'm just going to nose in while they continue to shoot this HE and hopefully be able to remove them off the board. I'm hoping the rest of their team isn't close, but who really knows at this point. I'm just trying to get rid of this first enemy, and then I'll deal with the situations as they arise afterwards. Oh no. Now I'm taking fire from somebody else. Okay, but at least we got that one down. Now, are you kidding me? It's the Minsk? This Minsk is still alive? Alright. Maybe this can be the Kraken, please. We've broken 200,000 damage. That's a pretty decent amount considering there are no legendary ships on here. Shots out. And yeah, I missed. That was all on me. If I'd been able to connect that, I don't think I would have won this match, but at least I would have had that crack. So speaking of ammo types, this Prinz Eugen is shooting me with AP. And oh my god, there's another battleship. Okay, why did that battleship go behind the island? Maybe it needed to get some heals in, but man, it's just me. I'm not that dangerous. Anyway, I don't know for certain, but I don't think my AP could penetrate the turtleback of the Prinz Eugen from here, so I'm just going to stick with HE. And they almost certainly have torps in the water. There are some right there. But you never know. You just never know what might happen. And so I'm living on a prayer here. Oh, the Minsk is back. Please, let me just take this out. I've got 4,000, 2,000, 3,000 health. I'm not going to have much for long. 900. There we go. And I hit the Minsk. Oh, baby. He'd burned his damage con, and he had a fire. That would have been a Kraken just in a fraction of a second. But let's check out this result screen. Look at all those. 2,639 XP in a loss, which in a win would have been just over 4,000 XP. Oh, that was a tough one. That was when I turned off the game. I was like, you know what? Maybe play a little bit this evening, but for now, you need to make a video and make lunch. You can't rely on your teammates. You got to go into every game thinking you need to carry the team and then be shocked if you don't. But that wraps it up for this session of Trainables. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got questions, comments, or recipes, put them down below. If you don't put ketchup on your hot dog, hit like. If you are some sort of Neanderthal who is ketchup only, hit dislike. Subscribe to never miss any other recipes, and I will get back out there for another video, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can talk soon.